Hello, hello. It's Kevin here. Time for a quick video this afternoon. It's Monday afternoon here, about Ideas Bank for your writing for both IELTS and TOEFL, but more for the IELTS. So let's get on. Now, what exactly is an Ideas Bank? So it's a collection of topics, vocab, possible questions, sample essays, and above all, ideas. Now, the reason why I'm making this is because, as you know, because I've told you, I've got lots of students, over 1,000 I have had since I started on italki. And there's some problems which we keep seeing, well, which I keep seeing, no ideas. So why do you need one? As I said, experience showed me one of the major problems that people have is they get a question and they've no idea. Well, they have a topic and they may be a different question within that, but they have no ideas. Now, why is that bad? Because, and I shouldn't really, I shouldn't laugh, but grammar and vocab, okay, very important, but cohesion, coherence, and task achievement, both writing and speaking, it's about effective communication of your ideas. So if you don't have any ideas, what can you communicate? Really, essentially, there's not a lot that you can do. So why do we need it? So, as I said, if we look at the criteria, right? So this is from the TOEFL test, from the official. This is from the official writing rubrics for TOEFL. Effectively addresses the topic and task. Well organized, developed ideas, reasons, examples, using explanations, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. IELTS test, basically it's saying ideas relevant, fully extended, and well supported. So we can see that you need ideas. If you don't have them, your essay, you're not going to be getting particularly far, really. Are you? So how do you make one? Now, again, it can be a little time consuming for sure, but you need to identify the topics. So if you just do a quick search, common IELTS themes in TOEFL, you can find it in a couple of seconds. Identify them, make a list. Top 20 for IELTS. You could do the top 10 if you don't have that much time, or maybe just focus on the ones that you don't really know anything about, like, art, environment. I don't know what you know, so, that's up to you. But you need to make a list and systematically, this is it, research them. Ideas, vocab, synonyms, subtopics, examples, and especially collecting sample essays. But don't collect any old crap. Try and aim for band 9 essays. Now, you may find it, you say, where can I find these? Well, professional teacher sites, such as Liz, Advantage, etc. And there's also DC IELTS, I think it's still going. IELTS Simon, so there's like 4 there. And there's other new teachers too. I mean, I have some sample essays on my other channel, but they're not to download. They're not in text. They're just like a video, But anyway, I would collect some sample essays. Note your vocab and your ideas, etc. And so I would maybe try and write at least one essay a category. Obviously, depending on when you have your particular test, you can write more, of course. So for the IELTS, you've got maybe stick to 20 topics. For the TOEFL, you've got 6 different kinds. You've got your preference, your imaginary ones, your opinions. But there's pretty much a lot of topics for the independent essay, which should cross over to some of the ground for the IELTS test, so you can find them there as well. Okay, so even if you just make a plan, that would be good. Review it, Google the topics and questions. It's like if you make a list, right, so your top 20 themes, right, and you say, right, okay, start with crime. So IELTS topics crime. Okay, you'll get page after page after page. It's up to you to systematically research them, see which is a good one, which you think is a reliable source. There's some sites that have a lot of essays from students, and a lot of them are not very good, and they say this is a band 9, 8, and when I take a look at it, it will be scraping a 5. So, as I say, you need to be circumspect, be cautious about which essay. So only, go with recognized teachers. But still, ideas, you need them. Makes essay plans. Now, again, why is this important? The example that other teachers use, and which I've actually found, is the one about, there's been many complaints or criticisms, complaints, yeah, that the IELTS test is too Western-centric, for example. Now, the TOEFL test is obviously North American centric, because that's what it's for. But the IELTS test is meant to be worldwide wide, but there's been some criticism that some of the questions and topics people in some certain cultures or countries would not understand. And the obvious one, which other teachers mentioned, and which I've personally seen with some of my own students, is that one about the gap year. It's like in some countries, teenagers take a year out to work or travel before going to university. What are the advantages and disadvantages? It's something phrased in that kind of way. And obviously, in some cultures, like in some countries in Southeast Asia, what's a gap year? They don't do that. They don't have a year out. They go school, uni, job, and that's how it goes. So that's a peculiar Western tradition. I mean, with the last 2 years, it's not been really working as such, but before that, it was extremely common for teenagers. They finish school or college and they have a year out. They go backpacking in Asia or whatever, and then they go to uni and they've had at least a bit of life experience. Anyway, so for some cultures, they have no idea what you're talking about. So that would be a problem for some. So the culturally specific things aside, say there's questions about technology, environment, or housing. If you've never thought about it, like I was doing one with somebody just last week, actually 1 or 2, about there's a question, I think it's in Cambridge 16. It said about in some countries, people research the history of their home. Why do they do it, and how do they do it, or how can they? And again, for some people, it's like they don't really know. But in the West, such as in England, for example, I don't know in your country, but we have all these daytime TV programs that are basically crap. And in the last few years, there's been a lot of property kind of shows, these housing shows and property shows. We can, so for lots of people in the UK, for example, if they're planning to sell their house, then they research it and try and find some interesting fact, like somebody famous used to live there, it's got some special feature, hoping that this will increase the resale value of the property. So it's that kind of thing. So again, though, if you didn't know, you might think, well, why do they do that? Why would they want to find out? And or it could be one about advantages and disadvantages of an apartment and a house, or living in the country and the city. So if you've never thought about these particular questions and you don't have any ideas, so your essay as a consequence is not going to be particularly illuminating, is it? Now, just to give you a quick example, my students, where is it? Oh, hang on. Where are we? Oh, yes, yeah. So, then what? Get your writing assessed. Okay, you can read that. So the idea is no surprises. Now, sorry, I went onto the wrong page. The right page is this one, right? So, one of my students is working on her ideas bank right now. She sent me this. It's not finished, but this is just to give you some ideas. I don't think she'll mind me sharing this. Obviously, I haven't changed anything. There's some vocab stuff here, some grammar, but I haven't had changes. This is just to show you how you might go about it. So she's identified some of the topics: advertising, animals. So that's the main theme. The subtopics come in column 2. Targeting kids, blah, 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 blah. And some ideas come in the final column. And it's, it isn't finished, but she's got art, building and housing, crime and punishment. Now, you see, for this one here, so she's not so, so clued up on crime as we can see there. So this is something that she is working on. So you've got crime, economy, education, environment, health, and then these other topics here. So it's not finished. It's not actually finished. But that's just to give you some ideas of how it might work. That's what she's doing. Okay. So this is what I recommend. Ideas, right? You need them for your essay in terms of vocab. It's like, let me see, if you were talking about an environment for an essay, then you'd be wanting vocab like carbon neutral, net zero, global warming, carbon emissions, greenhouse gases, all that kind of thing. If you were writing an essay about crime, you'd be wanting vocab such as punishment, justice, sentencing, imprisonment, incarceration, distributive justice, I don't know, parole, bail, all these specific words and vocab for crime. So that's another reason why you need to build up your ideas bank, the idea. So we know what the topics are, right? We know what the general themes are. That's easy to find, just a couple of minutes of searching. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. You can find what some of the sub or topics and questions are. It's again, relatively easy to find. We can get some samples and get some ideas. So ideas and vocab, these are what are going to be quite important for you to get a good score for your task, achievement, and vocab score, and for the whole essay in general. What you don't want, as I said earlier, is to go and take the test and then you've got a question and you've got no ideas in Russian, German, Italian, whatever your native language might be, let alone in English. If you don't have any ideas, you're not going to be getting very far in terms of an essay. So, hope that helps. So, just a quick skip. Why do you need it? So, you know what you're talking about. Importance, I say, no ideas, nothing to communicate. What's the criteria say? You can read that for yourself, but it just proves the point about ideas. How do you make it? As I say, identify the topics. You can make a list. What do you do? Write an essay, make some plans, review it. Again, think of specific ideas, and then get somebody, a teacher, me, whoever, check your writing out, check your grammar, your vocab, cohesion, task achievement, and then keep on writing and familiarize yourself with the topics. So on test day, as it says, there'll be no surprises waiting for you. That's the education question. That's a crime question. I know this topic. I can talk about blah, blah, blah. That's how it works. So, hope that was useful. I'll see you soon on English with Kev. Okay, see you later.